Morning, Cynthia.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Good morning, Greg and Dr. Heck. How are you this morning?
We're doing well. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for your time. Michigan Mom Living, thank you very much. I know we're talking about epilepsy. It's Epilepsy Month, and there's a new campaign, new phase of it. Talk about it. So, Greg, can you tell us a little about the new phase of the campaign and why the new statistics showing the number of children who live with epilepsy is at an all-time high? And then, let us know about what epilepsy is.
Sure. This is a campaign. Talkaboutit.org is my foundation and my website in partnership with the Epilepsy Foundation of America. Our oldest son, I'm an actor, but our oldest son, Jake, has had epilepsy for the last 14 years. He's an adult, but when he started, it's very scary as an adult to see your child have epilepsy or see your child have a seizure. And so we saw that there was a lack of just a connection to the information. The information was there through the foundation, but making it simple for people to know what to do if you see someone have a seizure. So I started talkaboutit.org, or that's where people should go, or epilepsy.com. And seizures take on many different forms, from little tics to staring spells to the full convulsion, to what we call tonic-clonic seizures that people have, but they don't immediately happen. It's something that takes a few seconds. If you see someone have a seizure, take them to the ground, hug them, make sure that they don't fall. The fall is what really hurts people. And the seizure will ride itself out over a couple minutes. And if they're having a seizure, don't ever stick anything in their mouth. Put them on their side, put something soft under their head if they're shaking so they don't hurt themselves, and know that they're going to come out confused, angry, upset, whatever. But when they do come out, they'll get back to normal eventually. But just stay calm and go to the website. Know that there's great medications and great doctors out there, like Dr. Heck, who's sitting right next to me right now. You can tell them what a seizure is and
Sure.
and everything. But there's 470,000 kids now that in America, 3.4 million people that are dealing with epilepsy. We need to talk about it.
Wow. So, doctor, can you tell us what epilepsy is?
Sure.
How to diagnose and how can it be treated?
So epilepsy is defined as two seizures, basically. If you've had one seizure in your life, you don't have epilepsy. A second seizure really clinches the diagnosis. And those seizures may be, as Greg says, they may be as small as just a staring spell or being unresponsive, or they can be as dramatic as a convulsive or generalized tonic-clonic seizure. It's really important that people understand that these are brief electrical storms of the brain, that they stop on their own, and patients need to be treated. They need a diagnosis early so that they can get treated and they can go on with their lives. There are lots of medications and lots of other types of therapies as well. And we're really trying to get people to understand that they need the diagnosis, they need an accurate diagnosis, and they need to get treated so that these things can stop and they can live well with it.
And I don't think there's suddenly more people are getting epilepsy. I don't think that's what's happening. I think, like I think you alluded to, is that there's an understanding now. There's more information out there. We're talking about it more. So because of that, I think parents and people are like, you know what? I blanked out the other day. Like, we've had friends that have said, oh, I was driving, which is scary. Swimming, driving, being on a bike, like all these things where you're vulnerable if you had a seizure. And they say, I blanked out and I bumped the car in front of me and I thought I fell asleep, but it's happened a few times. And they go to a neurologist or an epileptologist, but a neurologist first, and they say, yeah, you're having seizures. You don't realize that these are seizures. They're not what you typically think of seizures. So it's this lack of or this recent understanding and knowledge out there that people are, I think, now putting themselves on that list and being diagnosed properly. And when you're diagnosed properly, you get the right medication. You were saying 70% of people respond to that first medication and get their seizures under control. So, definitely get to the right doctor or doctor's second opinions, whatever. Don't stop until you can hopefully get your seizures under control.
Well, doctor, can you share the different types of seizures that someone may have, and then also the differences between the seizures?
So we think of epilepsy in basically two buckets. One we call generalized epilepsy. Oftentimes, those are the childhood onset types of epilepsies. Considered absence spells where there will just be some staring, or some myoclonic spells where the child may jerk, or they may have the much larger generalized tonic-clonic seizures. The other bucket of epilepsy, which is quite common in adults, is what we call focal onset epilepsy, where a single part of the brain is irritable and causing the storm or the electrical seizure. And many times that seizure is simply, looks to be a brief what we call behavioral arrest. There might be some smacking of the lips, confusion, and it may not even progress to anything beyond that. And many times people will live with those things, not recognizing them as epilepsy for quite some time.
You're kind of describing normal, typical teenage behavior.
That's right.
I mean, it's hard enough raising a child, in this world where the information is out there and they've got their phones and their video games and whatever. And now you add, seizures on top of it. And I know firsthand that it's a really difficult thing as a parent. So it's important that people have the knowledge at their fingertips. They know what to do. People around them know what to do, coaches, teachers, spouses, or parents, relatives. So I encourage people, go to talkaboutit.org, go to epilepsy.com. Cannot thank Synovian enough for supporting this phase of the campaign, because it's really, the children, that's where I think adults can quickly get information, but when you experience this as a parent, all you want is that answer. You want to find the right doctor. You want the right information so that you can take care of it. And there's nothing more important than taking care of our children.
Oh, great. So is there anything else we didn't cover in this interview?
How handsome I look. I mean, other than that, I think we're, I cannot thank you enough for having us on, because this is what it's all about, is talking about this and providing information for people. Because I guarantee you somebody's watching right now and they're like, you know what? I knew it. And I need to get to the right doctor, or I need to, brush up on what to do because my coworker I saw them have a seizure and I should know what to do. Go to talkaboutit.org, go to epilepsy.com. And thank you.
Great. Well, you're welcome, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.